joining us in a very special service where we actually... Is this better? I'm not going to repeat what I said.
Start again.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to welcome you for a very special service that we have, our last one in this building, where we actually are going to have a lot of memories, and we're going to build some new memories together. I appreciate all of you are here, and we will continue.
When Ron Hiller says stand here, you stand here. That's just how it goes. To Suzanne Moore and Bruce Cooper and Sharon Aptaker, whose day started in Florida at 4 o'clock after leading a memorial service for her brother, right? There are two trips to Florida that Jews take. One is for pleasure and the other is for memorial services. And Sharon started hers in a hard way. And we want to fill your heart with love today. We are so glad that you are here. So one rabbi is succeeding another, and he says, I've left a couple of envelopes for you in the temple safe. And when things get rough for you, just open them up in their order. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And so the new rabbi starts his job, and he runs smack dab into a disagreement with the sisterhood president over whether or not the sisterhood gift shop should be selling Xeroxed copies of the mezuzah parchments or not. And so the rabbi realized this is just not worth the fight. I'm going to open the envelope. He opens the envelope, and it says, give in. He gives in, and everything works out. 6 months go by, and the rabbi runs smack dab into a real conflict with the temple president over something to do with the rabbi's discretionary fund. And so the rabbi opens up envelope number 2, and it says, hold your line. Hold your line. And then another 6 months go by, and the rabbi runs into a terrific problem with the temple board over a governance issue having to do with the rabbi's parking spot in the temple lot. And he opens up the third, he says, I'm going to go to the third envelope. And he opens the third envelope, and it says, prepare 3 envelopes. Now, those of you who go to the movies will be very familiar with the movie When Harry Met Sally, and with the famous wagon wheel scene. The famous wagon wheel scene in When Harry Met Sally. Now, you may remember Bruno Kirby's prized possession is that wagon wheel. It's a coffee table come wagon wheel, and his new wife, Carrie Fisher, of Star Wars fame, I actually thought she was better in Harry Met Sally than in Star Wars, and so did she. But she, in the movie, as you may remember, she, second marriage for both, she hates this wagon wheel coffee table. Now, and then a few minutes later, in the movie, we see Bruno Kirby schlepping this wagon wheel table down to the curb, right? And he realizes that in his new marriage, he wants his wife more than the wagon wheel. Wants his wife more than the wagon wheel. And sometimes you don't see that until a second marriage or a big fight transcended in a first. And so I promise you, these two congregations coming together, there's going to come a time when you feel deeply committed to your wagon wheel coffee table, and you're not going to want to give it up. And I just have 4 words of advice. When you come to that moment and you remember how it plays out in the movie, it can play out that way in real life. There's going to come a time when you're going to have to schlep the precious wagon wheel coffee table down to the curb. So in the spirit of 3 envelopes, 4 words of advice: remember the wagon wheel. Remember the wagon wheel. Someone's going when Disick's no longer here, someone's going to say, remember the wagon wheel. All right? And that will be code for it's time to be flexible. And that's what makes a new marriage work, right? That ability to be resilient and flexible with one another. Now, as many of you know, and Cheryl, where are you? Cheryl, it's time for you to assume to go to the place. As many of you know, this building is being sold to a very meaningful and important Christian organization. And the Jewish tradition teaches us, our tradition teaches us, that when you sell a property, if you sell to a Jewish couple or a Jewish family, you leave your mezuzot. You leave them. But if you sell to someone who's of another tradition or of another faith, you take them down. We're not just going to take this mezuzah down, but we're going to give it a new home. So I turn to Cheryl. How long have you been with the temple?
36 years.
Did you say 36?
Not working, as a matter.
I understood.
Only working 32.
Double chai. You know, I think it's time for Bruce to get you a double strand of pearls. So Cheryl, I'm going to ask Rabbi Pankin to come stand next to me. And Cheryl, in the spirit of us assuming a new home, taking a new home, would you please bring the mezuzah from this sanctuary and give it to Rabbi Pankin, who will be in charge of making sure it finds our new home, a new home in our new synagogue.
Well, Rabbi Disick contextualized today in the sense of a marriage. And I wanted to just share with you, as we get to know each other better, that right before I got married, I had a moment of terror. Did anyone have that moment too? You don't have to raise your hand, but I'm going to see it in your eyes. And it wasn't because I didn't love my husband, because I did. And it wasn't because I wasn't excited about creating a future with him, because I was, but it was because stepping into the unknown with someone who I had only known for a short amount of time is a really, really frightening thing to do, and it's really exciting too. Our ancestors' story unfolded in the wilderness. They were really, really scared to leave Egypt, an incredibly daunting thought to leave what they knew for something they didn't know. But they did. They set forth. And we can learn from them that there will be challenges, and there will be miracles, and there will be successes, and there will be failures, and we will remember the wagon wheel, and we, like them, will keep moving ahead towards a promise, not of a land, but of what we can do and what we can make together. Today, we're not totally getting married, but we're moving in together. Don't tell your parents. And we will formalize this engagement in a few months, where we complete the process of getting married. But this is the first step of the journey that we make along the way. And we are scared, you and us. We are excited, all of us together. We will love each other, and we will annoy one another as well. But in the end, we will have the opportunity to create a beautiful, fulfilling, spiritual, meaningful Jewish life and Jewish home together. And today is the first step in beginning to make that home. So before we begin that formal process of taking the Torahs from the Ark, I'd like to invite our wonderful musicians to lead us in the blessing for the journey. I'm getting verklempt. But it's time, a hard act and a hopeful act. So I would first like to invite Andrea to come forward to take the community's prayers from the Ark. Please rise. These prayers are going to be put into the Ark at Temple Shaari Emeth. And I'd now like to invite all of the past presidents to come to remove the Torahs from the Ark. They will be passed to Tamima and Robin, who will carry them from the building as they begin their journey to their new home. Just a reminder, please, as we begin to leave in our cars, allow the cars that have the white sheets in them to go first. I will lead the procession after the police, and we'll all follow together. So past presidents.
Wait, is there anyone who's not a past president?
You're going to pass them.
see you moving your toes. I know, nice. Perfectly positioned. Nice. Well, that's okay.
They were here
What about you?
with Robin. It's really the Torah
That's right.
that's the most important. Robin and I can lean in.
Hello, Rabbi.
Hello, Jennifer. How are you?
Good. I'll let you hold that.
I'm gonna hold that.
We are good. Ready for the
Hello.
journey. Hi, Jen. It's like holding a baby all over again, right?
I know, that's exactly what it feels like.
Precious one.
It's funny you should say that. One Yom Kippur service, I held the Torah for Yom Kippur up on the Bima, and there was an artist who was part of our congregation, and she decided to paint me that she was inspired, and the caption read that Robin was cradling the Torah as if it were a newborn. So,
Oh,
Aw,
that's nice.
and I
sweet.
still have it hanging in my house.
Nice.
That's sweet.
So for those of you who are joining us online, I'm Rabbi Penkin. I'm joined by Robin and Jen from Temple Rodeph Torah. We're joined by Jennifer Fessler and Tamima Grinwald. And we are going to keep you company as we begin the journey. This is kind of a karaoke kind of thing that we're doing here. We are, yeah. Okay. Can you hear us? Okay. We're ready. Awesome. Okay. All right, everybody. We're off. Here we go. This is a big moment. It's a hard moment, but it's a joyous moment. We all may get a little verklempt, and that's okay.
Yeah,
But I'm
When she starts crying, I cry.
So I'm really excited because Jennifer Herzog, who's in the back, cradling the Torah, is the daughter of the first president of TRT. And I was wondering, Jen, if you'd be willing to tell us a little bit about what it was like and the stories of having the father who's the first president of TRT.
sure. I'll tell you what I remember, and I think a lot of what I remember is through the stories because I was so young. I was about 5 or 6 when TRT got started. And my own family story kind of goes like this. It was I was down the block playing with a friend
Go fast.
who
No, I'm not saying you go
Oh.
fast. Like they go fast. Like
she was not Jewish, and I came skipping home from playing with her, and I was singing "Jesus Loves Me," and my parents looked at each other and said, "It's time. We got to join a temple." And now here is where the story comes full circle. At the time, the Reform Temple in the area was Shaari Emeth, and because of the demographics at the time, Shaari Emeth was full, completely full. And so, and this happens with several other, families in the area. And there was enough need and demand and desire to start a new Reform temple in the area. So apparently, now this is where my memory gets fuzzy, but there was a note posted, remember, back before internet, back before any of it. So there was a note posted on the bulletin board in the entrance of Food Town, which was the grocery store, the supermarket that was there before Netcost is there now. And I think even before that, it was Stop and Shop. Way back then, it was Food Town. And there was a note posted on the Food Town bulletin board saying, any families interested in starting a new Reform temple, let's get together and talk about it. And so I believe it was somewhere between 7 and 10 families that met in some storefront somewhere, I believe. And
Was it the Chinese restaurant that
it
they
probably
met in?
was.
It was
It
a Chinese
probably
restaurant.
was. Yeah.
I mean,
and-
that's about as that's religious.
exactly how Jewish can you get? And TRT was born.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you have memories of what those first years were like?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I have a snapshot memory of getting dressed up because it was special. You had to get dressed, and then I put on my little, fluffy white dress and tights and patent leather Mary Jane shoes. And I was buckling my shoes, and I said to my dad, because I knew he was going to be talking on this thing called, I didn't know what it was called at the time, but he was going to be up on the bima. Well, we didn't have a bima, so he was going to be up in front. And I said, Daddy, I'll clap for you every time. And he said, no, you don't clap in temple. And I said, oh, okay. But no, I remember constantly getting together in each other's living rooms, and the grown-ups would have their meetings, and all of the kids would hang out and play, and those families became my family. And those kids became like my cousins, and we were all raised together in TRT. And I remember the stories about the meetings that would last until 1 a.m, and the arguments. And
Oh, you guys too?
Yeah.
TSC board members would often bring their blankets.
Oh, yes. And some would stick some wine in their travel mug. Not admitting to that, by the way.
That's right.
And what is it like? What's it been like for you being on the board and being part of the TRT leadership after your father having done this?
Yeah, well, so, I mean, my gosh, it was, my dad was the first president, I think, as the story goes, only because he was the only one stupid enough to volunteer to do it. When my husband John and I moved back to this area, or were thinking about moving back, he said to me, because he knew my history with TRT, and he said, you can get involved in TRT again. And that sold me. That was it. I just said, yeah, right, okay, let's move back. And I knew right away that I wanted to get back involved. And Ellen Finkelstein called me up. She was our head of volunteer growth at the time, and said, Jen, will you be on the board? And I said, I have 2 little kids. Can I do this? Do I have time? And she said, you'll make time. You'll do it. And the rest is history.
Amazing. Robin, how did you get involved in TRT?
Well, I had never belonged, not only have I never belonged to a temple before TRT, I never went to temple before TRT. So as soon as I was married with my first husband, and with my children, it was time to join because it was bar mitzvah time. We interviewed Rabbi Weber, and my husband at the time thought that it would be a good match. And the first time I ever went to a service, I was up on the bima singing in the choir. So it was,
Wow.
it was crazy.
You jumped right in.
Yes. So, and it's really been my life, this temple. It's the only temple I've ever known.
Wow.
And I went through some tough times, and this temple, I would always say this temple saved my life, and it did. And I didn't know what to do to pay back for everything that the temple did for me during my divorce at the time and other things. And I just needed to volunteer any which way I could. And I needed to learn about Judaism because I did not grow up with that. My family was Jewish, but I didn't grow up with any backgrounds at all. So I had to really learn quickly. And it was the best thing, every day to learn more and more. And just like it's in my soul, my blood, my guts, my everything was temple. And it was just wonderful. And then I became a bat mitzvah at Temple Rodeph Torah, and then I got married at the temple, and of course, the bar mitzvahs for each of my boys. So every wonderful thing that's happened to me happens at Temple Rodeph Torah. So I am forever grateful of what this temple life has given to me and to my family.
Wow. Tamima, how does a nice Israeli woman end up as a temple president in Marlborough, New Jersey?
Oh my God, it's a long journey, but the bottom line is that when my daughter was in third grade. Our friends, the classes, invited us to come and see the temple, and my question to Zohar, my daughter, was, "Do you like it?" And she said yes, and that was it. That just made it clear that that's the right place for us as a family. And how did I get to be on the board is I'm going to blame Joel Borshoff, who is the past president, who came to me and said, I think you should, I heard good things about you and that's a good place for you. And I said, are you sure? I'm an Israeli. Why would they want to hear my opinion? It's like, you'll find your place. And that's how the story continued into being active on the board, and stepping up.
Uh-oh, you still there?
I am.
Oh, okay.
I am.
I just want to give a shout out to the Marlborough Police and the Freehold Police who are doing a phenomenal job. Amazing. So Jennifer, you want to share your story of how you got involved?
I do something about the meetings. So the one thing that Jen Herzog reminded me is there was one time I invited her dad to come to one of our meetings. I don't remember if that was a board meeting or a membership meeting, but it was kind of an important meeting. And he came out at the end and he said to her, I think it was a cancer search meeting. And he came to her and he said, I think these meetings are too bored. There isn't enough.
We all got along way too well. Yeah.
Yes, we did.
So Jennifer, how did you end up being Temple president?
Wow, it's been a long road as well. I started here 10 years ago. I checked. I can't believe it's been 10 years. And I was looking for a community. I grew up at Sons of Israel, and when I moved back north with my children, we joined Sons of Israel with my parents, and my oldest got his bar mitzvah date, and it was important to me that I wanted to go to the Torah with them. And I've never had that experience, and I came to Shaari Emeth, and everybody was super warm and welcoming. So when we decided to join, I hope I don't embarrass her, but Anita Miller, she was the start of it all, because she convinced me to come to a sisterhood dinner. And then I was coming to, what's this guy doing?
I don't know. I think
He's letting us pass. Okay. All right.
And then all of a sudden I'm doing Hebrew in the Sisterhood Shabbat. Next thing I'm knowing, I'm a co-president of Sisterhood. Then I'm Sisterhood president. And I know that the congregation came to me, I guess 5 years ago, to be president. And I said, no, wait till my boys are out of school and out of the house. And now they are. So here I am. Very excited to be here.
And welcome. This is a big time to step up into the presidency, but you're going to do an amazing job. Well,
keeping my fingers crossed.
Jen Kessler and I grew up together. We knew each other when we were, God, I don't know how old, and went to school together.
Very young.
So this is a reunion for us as well.
Oh, I remember Pine Grove Camp, Jen. You remember Pine Grove?
Yes.
Yeah. Drama. It was fun.
Oh my goodness, this looks beautiful. Wow.
Well, my friends, we are here at Temple Shaari Emeth, so we're going to turn it over now to our feed from here, but we will see you in a few moments as we take the Torahs over.
Our procession from TRT is arriving, so look lively, hold up signs. They're coming and parking right now.
this. Here we go. You got it? Put it right over your knees. Good.
Hi, everyone. It's a beautiful Sunday to welcome our new family. Although this is not a marriage yet, it's certainly our engagement together. And I just, about an hour ago, we were at Temple Rodeph Torah where Rabbi Disick and Rabbi Pankin performed a beautiful ceremony. It was very emotional. As we left Temple Rodeph Torah, a few of the past presidents were blowing the shofar, and I have to say I had a little bit of a lot of emotion in that. It's bittersweet for the Temple Rodeph people who are now going to be part of our TSC family and will be one congregation together. When Tamima Grinvald called me up and said to me, hey, what do you think of this? I told her the first words were, we welcome the opportunity to embrace the Temple Rodeph Torah family. For after all, what we're trying to do here is not about Temple Shaari Emeth. It's not about Temple Rodeph Torah. It's about the Jewish Reformed community in western Monmouth County, and that's why we're here for today. So what I want to do first is I want to thank our Board of Trustees for both Temple Rodeph Torah and Temple Shaari Emeth. I want to thank our congregation for both having the vision and the understanding and the idea of us coming together. And I also, I think I need to thank the people who were involved in all the committees. Certainly, there was a lot of work involved, a lot of effort. And I'd like to name all the people who were involved, but it just would take too much time. But I want to thank them all for their efforts. But the one person I do want to thank, and for the people from the Temple Rodeph Torah side, I think you do understand what a wonderful president you had in Tamima. She's done an unbelievable job and represented the Temple Rodeph Torah family extremely well, and I look forward to her being part of our family as well. So no one, as the rabbi has said, and obviously I want to just say one thing, we have Rabbi Disick, I know, was a wonderful rabbi for you, as well as Rabbi Weber in the past, and I know that I hope you have an opportunity to embrace Rabbi Pankin. She's a beautiful person. She's been a great leader for us, and we just, love her very much. Tamima and I were very fortunate. We had the opportunity of not only watching over a pandemic time, but also an integration, which created a lot of work for us. But I think the one thing I always say about when you're in the business world or when you're in this world, it's really about the right people at the right place at the right time. And I really do feel we did have the right people at the right place at the right time. So with that, I just want to say, also, you have a wonderful president coming in, Jennifer Fessler. And what I'd like to do is introduce Jennifer. So thank you all, and I look forward to meeting you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Fabian. Wow, look at the turnout here. This is awesome. For those of you I haven't had the pleasure to meet, I am Jennifer, and I look forward to meeting you guys, each and every one of you, over the next several weeks. I want to thank you for having me here today for this very special moment for Rodeph Torah. The service at the temple was beautiful. Is verklempt, is that the right word, Rabbi? I've been there. I know this is a bittersweet moment, and I'm honored that you invited me to share that with you in your home, so thank you. I remember a little over a year ago, Fabian asked me what my thoughts were on meeting with the TRT president and discussing a merger. Amazing idea. Larger community, new friends and family, new ideas, grow so many new relationships. It kind of was a no-brainer. What could be bad about it? Well, now we're here. I've started to meet many of you at our Summer Shabbat series, and I look forward to meeting all of you in the coming weeks. As we move your precious Torahs into our ark, it is important that you all know we are now family. TSE is now your community. Our congregation is excited to grow with you, and our home is now your home. Welcome. Look forward to it.
As we prepared for today, Rabbi Disick created a beautiful ketubah, which we would like to read now. It will not be signed today. As I said to the friends at Temple Rodeph Torah just a while ago, we're just moving in together today. We're not totally getting married, but we are starting formally that engagement process of living together and growing together. So Rabbi Disick?
Thank you. And as many of you know, you don't put the furniture into the baby's room until the baby is born. The baby's cooking very nicely. So this is, when you sign it, this is what the ketubah will read. On the first day of the week, Parashat Devarim, the first Torah portion of the book of Deuteronomy, the second day of Av, 5781 years since the creation of the world, corresponding to the 11th day of July, in the year 2021, here in Manalapan, New Jersey, in the presence of our faithful friends, Temple Shaari Emeth, which was established in 1966, and Temple Rodeph Torah, which was established in 1981, joined together in sacred covenant to create one unified congregation.
We pray, hope, that in the years ahead, our synagogue will always remain a house of gathering where our friends come to build meaningful and long-standing relationships with one another for sacred purpose. We pray that our children will forever learn to make the Torah their own, and that our elders will always find dignity and respect. May our synagogue be a wellspring of tikkun olam, where repairing our pained and broken world is not only taught, but lived, both under this roof and in the homes of our caring and compassionate members. Now, as our congregations become one, as their traditions and histories intertwine, we pray for continued strength and courage in changing times. May our unified congregation always be a house of prayer, a house of learning, a house of conscience, and a home for the soul. And let us say, Amen. Thank you so much, Rabbi Disick, for creating the beautiful text. You may know this, or you may not, but that the wedding ceremony originally was broken into two parts. There was an erosin, a betrothal section, and then later on there was kiddushin, where the bride and groom would come under the chuppah. And so today I like to think of it as our erosin, as our engagement, the first cup of wine that we will share together, that will be followed with a second cup of wine, a ketubah signing, and a beautiful Sheva Brachot, 7 wedding blessings. Part of the erosin ceremony is the bedekin, the dressing of the bride, the dressing of our beloved. Now, it comes from a time that, because of the story of Jacob, who ended marrying Leah by accident because she was veiled, we do the bedekin to check that we're marrying the right person. Now, I'd like to say we've looked under the veil, and we know that we are marrying the right person. But when I do weddings, I like to use a more egalitarian sense. I have the bride veiled by her beloved, and I have the groom receive his kippah. He is completed in being dressed by his beloved. The idea being that bride and groom, or groom and groom, bride and bride beloveds, finish dressing one another as an act that we complete one another. And that is really what's going on here today, that we are bringing completion to one another. And I hope through all the years ahead that we will always have that sense that we are beloved, that we are friends, that we are companions, that we are partners in doing the sacred work of creating a Jewish home. So what better way to begin this than by actually doing a bedekin, by dressing our Torahs. We will take off the Rodeph Torah coverings, put on the Shaari Emeth coverings, and put the Rodeph Torah crowns back on before we enter them into the ark, as a sign that we are redressing ourselves and that we are completing one another. And we should always remember that that is our goal, to really complete one another. And so it is my pleasure to ask Heather and Marion to do the dressing. They're going to go back on.
Right.
Those go on this.
The yard goes on the left.
The yard on the left.
Which one are you putting the yard on the left?
There you go. That's better.
Should be equal.
We will now And now we will make a procession into the sanctuary. We will have the ark opened. Jennifer and Fabian will remove 2 of the Torahs from Shaari Emeth's ark, and we will welcome our new Torahs and our new family. We will make a big line and snake through the building so that everybody can see the new Torahs in their ark. And so I invite our Torah carriers to lead the way. Yeah.
to make their way to the parking lot. We have refreshments. The band's gonna play some music. We'll do the hora. Look forward to meeting you over there.
All right, so we're going to the end? Yeah. Go right to the end. So we're in the middle. All right. Well, keep looking.
Let's go, come on.
We're all over.
I know we've been trying. You know, part of so you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. I apologize. It's all good. Thank you. Friends, as everyone is coming out, if we could just hold on the music for one moment. Hello, hold on the music, just one moment. As people are coming out, I just want to take a moment. Can you all hear me out in the parking lot? Yes, okay. There's a little nosh and a little drink, but I want to thank everyone who made this day possible, especially Tamima, Fabian, and Jennifer, Rabbi Disick, Heather and Marion, Andrea and Robin, the wonderful band, yay! I especially want to thank Glenn and Rob and Ryan and our team of streamers, our incredible producers. I want to thank all of our past presidents. It is so exciting for Shaari Emeth that we had our first past president here, Alan Pecor, and one of our founding families, Sandra Whitehouse, is also here, as well as representation of the Herzog family from Temple Rodeph Torah. Jen Herzog is here. Her father was the first president. I would like to invite the core committee, those of you who have been working on the core committee, you know who you are, to come on up over here. And we want to thank you for all the work that you've been doing. I want to thank our staff, Stuart, Martine, Chino, Sharon, and Melissa, our security staff who's here, and all the volunteers who came together to make this happen. Toda Rabah to everyone. I'd like to invite the core committee to come on up here. Come join me, please. And I'm going to ask them to lead us in the Kiddush as we raise our first cup of wine or sangria or grape juice or whatever you're drinking together. It is a moment of blessing. So core team members, please come on up and you'll lead us in the Kiddush.
What's up, Brian?
You've been out on the beach, you look much tanner than you do in Zoom.
Come stand in front of them.
I have been at the beach.
In the shade.
In the shade.
I like the sun.
And brings your cups.
Oh, I don't even have one.
Let's see. Howard, Tamima, Peter,
So good to see you in
Dan, Brian. Oh, Brian's here.
So good to see you with legs.
So good to see you.
Who else?
And you
I'm not a hugger yet.
Stuart.
Got it.
All right. I'm into the elbows. My kids learn
Ryan?
somewhere
Oh, Brian's right
Please
there.
come to the.
It's true, yeah.
So they're always trying to trick me by touching my elbow.
Howard's much taller than I thought.
I was catching up.
You know, you get an image of what
Yeah.
people are going to look like, and he's
Yeah.
tall.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny that the rabbi thought that Heather was tall.
I
Because she's not.
I tell everybody I'm like 4'3".
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm shorter than most people usually say too. Just because I have a big personality.
All right.
Exactly.
Ready? Raise your cups.
Yeah. We did it.
Together. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
L'chaim. And then one last thing. This is truly a Shehechianu moment. We have to thank God for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this moment. So maybe our band wants to lead us in a nice Shehechianu, and let's all join together. Or should I just start singing?
They're working.
No, they got it.
They're working.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. How about a nice Simon Tov Mazel Tov? Good job, everybody. Got to play ball for it. That's right.
You should be out there, right?
Go start a hora. Go start a hora. This one? Okay.
Think so?
Friends, I want to thank you for joining us today, if you're online, and we hope that you'll come join us in service in our parking lot summer services at 6:30 right here at Temple Shaari Emeth. Thank you.